Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be going over the ratios quiz number 2 for class 603 and 633. The first question, Hajra wants to paint her room pink. To make the shade of pink that she likes, she needs to mix 3 pints of white paint with a half pint of red paint. If she has 12 pints of white paint, how much red paint will she need? Let's take a look at the problem and take a look at what information we're given. We're told the ratio to make the shade that she wants is 3 pints of white to a half pint of red. So we've started our ratio table here with 3 white and a half red. To complete the table, we're going to continue to add 3 on the top each time. That's too dark. So our next entry would be 6. If we add 3 again, the next entry is 9. If we add 3 again, the next entry is 12. And we're looking for 12 pints of white, so we're going to stop there. Now we need to figure out how much red paint she'll need. Well, again, if we continue the pattern of adding a half on the bottom for the red, that becomes 2 halves. Add another half, it becomes 3 halves. And add another half, it becomes 4 halves. 4 halves is not in our solution, but I know that I can divide 4 and 2 by 2 to reduce it. So it becomes 2 over 1, which is the same as 2. So it's choice C. She'll need 2 pints. Question 2. Which ratio has the same value as 2 to 3? You'll notice for each of the options, I've already written 2 to 3 on top of each of the ratios given. And I've also written in what the multiplicative factor is, multiplying the first number to the second number. For example, over here, 2 times 8 is 16, and 3 times 8 is 24. Since that's the same factor, that means our ratios are equivalent. These two numbers are the same. They have the same value. Let's go on to the next one to make sure there are no other options. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Since these are not the same numbers, they are not equivalent. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 12 is 36. These numbers 8 and 12 are not the same, so these are not equivalent. They don't have the same value. 2 times 12 is 24, and 3 times 10 and 2/3, clearly not 12, is 32. Since 12 and 10 and 2/3 are not the same, these are not equivalent. So it's choice A. Number 3. Which relationships can you identify in the ratio table? If I'm looking at the left-hand column beginning at 3, I notice I'm adding 3 to get to the next number in each of these rows. On the right-hand side, I notice I'm adding 9 to get to the next number in each of those rows. And going from the left to the right, we're multiplying by 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 6 times 3 is 18, and so on. 15 times 3 is 45. Now let's look at the answer choices. The left column has an additive relationship of adding 9. That's not true. We just figured out that it's 3, so A is not true. B, the right column has an additive relationship of adding 3 to the previous number. That's not true. We figured out it was 9. The multiplicative relationship is multiplying the left column by 3 to get to the right column, so we're moving from the left to the right. That is true. And so it can't be D and E, all of the above, or none of the above. It's choice C. Filling out our ratio table. On the left-hand side, I notice that going from 8 to 12 is increasing by 4. If I continue that pattern, the next number after 12 would be 16, and after 16 would be 20. Going in the opposite direction, I'd have to subtract 8 and 4 to get to the first value. And that does follow a relationship. We're listing the multiples of 4 on the left. On the right-hand side, I notice going from 9 to 12, we're increasing by 3. If I follow that pattern, 12 plus 3 is 15. And moving backwards, 9 minus 3 is 6, and 6 minus 3 is 3. The last question, number 5. Compare the ratio tables. List the lightest shade of orange to the darkest shade of orange. Show all work and explain how you determined your order. Well, we have 2 mixes here, mix A and B. And I want to have something that's in common for both of them. So I'm looking at If I have the same amount of yellow paint, 6 and 6, then I can compare how much red paint was added to the mix. I notice that A has 12 reds added to it and B has 18 added to it. So this has to be the lightest, and I should write in darker color. This has to be the lightest, and this one is the darkest because it has more red added to it. And here's our explanation. For the same amount of yellow paint, 6, the more red, the darker the shade of orange. Mix A has 12 red, mix B has 18 red. So A is lighter than B. A is lighter and B is darker. If you have any questions, please see me in class. Have a good day.